Hey guys. Is this an okay height? I'll be at this level. This is the scariest part of reading for me. It might surprise some of you to learn that I was actually not the most popular girl in high school. I mean, I wasn't getting stuffed into lockers or pig's blood poured onto me at prom or anything, but I wasn't really invited to many parties, nor was I winning homecoming queen. When I was in junior high school, I was invited by a friend to join her at one of her Jewish youth group meetings. I went, not really knowing what to expect. I wasn't particularly religious, but I did have a bat mitzvah. I went to the meeting, where I knew pretty much no one. And it was awesome. I was shiny and new, and people were very friendly. I then realized that it was an opportunity for me to make a fresh start with new people, not to be just nerdy Jen who everyone already figured out. I'd also recently become a C cup, so I was really making a good first impression, if you know what I mean. This youth group had a lot of events to provide the opportunity for nice Jewish boys and girls to make friends with other nice Jewish boys and girls so that they could make more nice Jewish boys and girls, including a week-long sleepaway camp for the whole region over the summer. I decided to go and was assigned to a bunk for girls my age. The girl who had invited me into the group didn't go, and most of my friends were either a year older or a year younger, so I was a little nervous being in a bunk full of strangers. My last sleepaway camp experience had not gone well. My older brother was there, and so were his friends, and they were all really nice to me. So as a result, the other girls hated me. It was a miserable 6 weeks. Luckily, a girl named Sarah was in my bunk. We instantly clicked. Immediately, we were just like, hey, what's your name? Are we friends now? Are we best friends or what? Okay, cool. It was like Step Brothers, but without anyone putting their balls on anyone else's drum set. And we were also 17, so we lived with our parents. But anyway, Sarah and I were attached at the hip for the whole week. She lived about 40 minutes from me, so we continued to hang out on the weekends and at other youth group events. The next year, she went to art school in Brooklyn, and I headed to DC for college. But we managed to stay good friends, visiting each other when we were home and at school. I feel like this might start to sound like a lesbian adventure, and I'm sorry to disappoint you, but one Christmas break, I was home visiting my parents, and I actually visited Sarah at her dorm room one weekend as well to meet her new boyfriend. She is one of those girls who really wanted to get married and started online dating before it was really common. This guy, however, was from art school. Naturally, he was into drugs. Sarah had smoked pot once in 3 years I had known her, so I was interested to see how they would fit together. Also, I was kind of a stoner at the time, so I was hopeful that he would bring the good weed. And by kind of a stoner, I mean my best friend was. So whenever it was available, I would partake. But I didn't have a dealer or anything. I was a good girl, studying for the LSAT. Good girls don't have drug dealers. Well, I mean, maybe they do for Coke and Adderall, but I didn't. Anyway, I met Sarah on her campus on Friday night. We hang out, catch up, cook dinner, and have a drink. Then we walked over to her boyfriend's apartment to hang out and maybe get a little high. We went to his apartment, and actually, he's pretty cute. She had good taste when it was non-Jews. We hang out for a little bit, make introductions, and then he suggests we smoke. I'd guess how many times I'd smoked at that point, but it's been years, and there's been a lot of smoking and drinking in the interim. But definitely I'd smoked a lot more than Sarah. Like, she had probably smoked once with me in high school and maybe a few times with her new boyfriend. She therefore did not know that a gravity bong was a terrible fucking idea. For those of you who are unfamiliar with gravity bongs, it's a man-made device for smoking a shit ton of weed at once. Basically, you cut the bottom of a 2-liter bottle, fill a bucket partway with water, MacGyver into a smoking device. The 2-liter fills with smoke, which then you inhale into your lungs. Picture a 2-liter bottle filled with smoke and imagine sucking that all into your lungs at once. This guy was not fucking around with getting high. Yeah, I was not ready to get that stoned, so I asked to use a bowl instead. However, Sarah wanted to impress her new boyfriend and went for the gravity bong. I think that she would agree that this was a bad choice. She got so fucking high. And she was new to the game, so she couldn't tell herself, hey, I'm just high. I need to calm down. It's cool. I'll just calm down. It's all in my head. And if I have a cookie and some water and watch some TV, it'll all be good. I later found out that she was so high, she thought she was in outer space and was going to die. So while she was in outer space, I'm sitting there high with a guy I just met and had been dating my friend for like a month. Sarah was all wide-eyed and silent. And we're like, hey, Sarah, are you okay? Can you make some sort of sound? Sarah, can I get you some water? Sarah, can you say a word out loud if you don't want us to call 911? All met with silence. Me and the boyfriend are like, fuck, what should we do? Mind you, we were high, paranoid, and really stupid teenagers. So we decided fresh air was a good idea. We put her shoes on her and walked downstairs to take a walk around the block. We make it like 3 steps and Sarah just falls to the ground like a rag doll. Oh, by the way, this was in Brooklyn about 5 years before Brooklyn was cool and hipster and safe. So a police car was driving by on patrol at the exact moment that Sarah collapsed. Boyfriend and I just looked at each other like, fuck, bad decision, high and paranoid. The cops get out of the car and I, stoned, I decide to be proactive and call 911 before they walk over, so it appears as though one of us had intended to do so. Genius, right? So smart. The ambulance shows up and there is only room for one of us, so of course, me, stoned, decide to go with. I get with her in the ambulance. The EMTs ask me what happened, and I'm obviously reluctant to tell them that I did something illegal. My law school dreams, flash before my eyes, in flames. They assured me several times that I would not get into any trouble, and they just needed to know what happened so that they could treat her correctly. Then I told them what we did, though I was still reluctant to tell them my name. They sat there for a second, and then they asked, okay, well, what else did she take? I said, just weed. And they said, no, really, what else? Again, I said, just weed. Then they asked me if I smoked. I said, well, yeah. And they said, well, how are you feeling? And I said, to be honest, I'm high, but fine. We then get to the public emergency room in Brooklyn. The EMTs recount my story to the doctors, who literally laugh. Then I get kicked to the waiting room for rounds. I am then high, paranoid, and alone in a Brooklyn emergency waiting room at midnight. So, what does 19-year-old stoned Jen decide is a good idea in this situation? Calling my fucking mom and telling her the whole thing. She pretty much told me that I was an idiot and to call Sarah's parents, which then I did. They were even less amused than my mom. They drove the hour to pick us up from the hospital and take us back to Sarah's dorm. I saw Sarah when rounds were over and she was mortified, rightfully so. She explained to me how she felt that when she was high, being, in space and all. And I explained to her that if she ever got high again, I'd kill her. Sarah and I stayed friends for a while. I went to law school and she became a lawyer. She became an art school teacher. Of course, art school boyfriend didn't last, and during my second year of law school, I actually went to Sarah's wedding where she married a nice Jewish boy. After that, we drifted. She has a kid now, so we don't have a ton in common. But I have fond memories of our times in youth group and our friendship. I even have a picture of us from that summer framed in my room. I'm pretty sure she never smoked pot again, but I hope she teaches her son the joys of youth group and the intensity of gravity bong hits.